This is 5 Minute Feng Shui, podcast number 39, Hotel Room Feng Shui. Welcome to the 5 Minute Feng Shui podcast, where each week I talk about how to move energy and make money. You'll learn how to create a prosperous home and an abundant life using classical Chinese Feng Shui. I'm your host, Katie Weber, publisher of the Red Lotus Letter, Feng Shui Easing for Wealth. Each week, I'll cover Feng Shui topics that can help you improve your life, share inspiring stories, and always end with 3 easy-to-implement Feng Shui tips that you can put to work right away, and usually in about 5 minutes. Now let's get started on the 5 minutes that could change your life. Hey, welcome to today's 5-Minute Feng Shui. Today we're talking about one of my absolute favorite things to do, and that is travel. No kidding. I mean, since I was, 5 years old, I have had a bag packed. This girl is a travel lover, and one of the things that really kind of keeps me motivated in my year is I try to plan out in advance, well in advance, in fact, several trips. Obviously, there's work trips, but in addition to that, I also like to plan vacations. Whether it's 2 or 3 times a year, maybe a big vacation, and then a couple of short, quick trips. This year, we spent a week in San Diego, just relaxing on Coronado Island, and coming up in the fall, I'll be headed toward Venice and Paris for a long vacation, and really looking forward to that. But let's talk about when you're traveling and you're in different hotel rooms, how can you bring that really great feng shui along with you and make your room a room that is both going to be relaxing and is also going to foster the travel experience, because that's really what we want to do. Is we always want to heighten our experience, and one of the things that travel does for us is heighten our awareness a lot of times of ourselves. I don't know about you, but when I travel, I often have a lot of personal insights, and I think that's because you don't see yourself in that background of your everyday life. You're set apart from it, so it helps you to get some objectivity in your life. That's one of the things I love about traveling. I also love being on an airplane, and yes, those really long 16-hour flights are like heaven to me. I can read, I can sleep, nobody's going to email me, text me, phone me. I can just put on my headsets and watch all the movies I want, sleep, drink champagne, and that kind of thing. So as you can tell, very excited about travel. And I'm excited to talk to you today about making it a great experience, and where that starts is your home base, which is, when you're traveling, it's a hotel room. Now, one of the things that I personally love to do is to splurge on hotel rooms. Sometimes, you need a place for the night, and it's really not a big deal. But if it's a vacation, it's really not a vacation unless the room feels like a vacation, at least in my mind, anyhow. So what we're looking for is to create that kind of experience in your hotel room that is just going to compound the wonderful ability to be out and about somewhere new, taking in new sights, new sounds, new places, new things, and your home base, your hotel room is just the place to start. So just because you're on the road now, whether that's traveling for business or you've got that long-awaited vacation, it doesn't mean you have to stop feng shui at the door. Absolutely not. And in fact, some of the best examples of feng shui are hotel rooms. They're usually gender neutral. They typically have a balance of, the room is balanced. There's usually, like, if you have one, let's say you have a large king bed in the room, there's usually a nightstand on either side of the bedside. So both partners have matching lamps. They both have matching tables. So it's a very harmonious and balanced room setting. Typically, there's usually always window space, and the bed is always up against a good solid wall, and the headboard is typically very secure and solid and comfortable to lean up against in bed, whether you want to read or watch TV, something like that, sit up and talk. Anyhow, so that's actually a really good tip for you to model at home, is just the arrangement that most hotel rooms take in their rooms. They also try to make it feel very serene and relaxing, so you're not going to go in and see lots of bright and loud colors. You're not going to see an exercise bicycle in the room. Now, you may have a desk in the room, but that doesn't always have to be used as a desk. So let's just talk about that feng shui aspect. So if you're used to living in a clean and comfortable, organized environment that has good feng shui, you're going to want to stay in a hotel room that feels like your home feng shui. So how do you do that? Feng shui really isn't hard to use when you're traveling and staying in hotel rooms. Plus, by using a little feng shui when you're on the road, you can keep yourself kind of energized and refreshed. That's because we're often tired when traveling, and that comes from being in a different environment, even if that environment is a luxury hotel, and just being on the airplane, different food, different water, and so on and so forth. That can kind of deplete you. You may find that you're a little bit tired, jet lag, and that kind of thing. But I also feel like if you've got a really nice hotel room, it's going to be keeping you refreshed, and you're going to sleep well, and you have comfortable sheets and towels and all that good stuff. But let's talk about making some feng shui changes when you're traveling that can make a difference in the quality of your trip and the quality of your energy and vitality while you're traveling. So you can just take a few steps to help you create a hotel room that has a great feng shui, and that will keep you safe and help you have a successful travel or vacation away from home. So let's talk about before you leave. Now, when you're packing for a trip, this is, I don't know about you, but I'm like, my biggest conundrum is, will my coffee maker fit in my carry-on luggage? Yes, I'm totally serious. I carry a coffee maker in my carry-on luggage because Katie needs her coffee in the morning, and I love, there's nothing like having a newspaper and all the coffee I want in bed, not one of those stinky little diddly little coffee makers like they give you. Anyhow, but the other thing is, how many shoes am I going to take? How many pairs can I fit in my luggage? I think about, do I need an umbrella? It takes me a long time to pack because I like everything to be just so. That's just me, and that's how I like to be. I so admire, I worked with a woman, she was my event planner. Kid you not, she left for a 4-day conference with me, and she had a tote bag with 2 changes of clothes, and she just used the hotel toiletries. And here I come with 2 camels, a donkey, Mayflower moving van. No, I usually carry one large or medium-sized suitcase. It's packed to the gills, but anyhow, I so admired her, and I humbly salam her. Anyway, that's not me though. Anyhow, let's talk about some of the things that you might want to think about when you're packing to put into your suitcase to make your hotel room experience a little bit more enjoyable. One of the things I like to pack is just a little spray of sheet spray that has like lavender. That to me refreshes the room. It makes those sheets that sometimes they don't have a smell. Actually, they don't usually have any kind of fragrance. They're usually just a very clean and no fragrance at all on. But to me, having a little lavender in the room just kind of breaks up some staleness that rooms have, because hotel rooms typically are what I would call a yin room. That's because it's all sleeping and sex. So 2 big things that go on typically in hotel rooms, sleeping and sex. And you're doing both of those things a lot of times in hotel rooms, just like all the people that were in that room before you. So that makes them yin. And we want to kind of break up that energy. So I love to do that with like a sheet spray with essential oil. So pick whatever you like. I particularly like floral sprays because florals are actually yang essences. So if you have a rose spray, a lavender spray, or maybe a combo, something like that, that's a really nice way to kind of refresh the room and refresh those sheets. I also like a candle. Remember what I said about hotel rooms being yin. And candles are yang. And I really like to add that little bit of fragrance to the room as well as add some yang energy because I need that. Obviously, when you're traveling, I remember one time we put pedometers on when we were visiting Rome with my son. He is such a trooper. That kiddo, he definitely has got my travel gene for sure. I think we marked off 11 and a half miles that we walked that day. Anyway, so when I came back, boy, my feet were tired. But that coming back to a hotel room that has I like to light a candle in the morning and in the evening when I am getting ready for bed or when I get back to the hotel room, just to add some fire and zest to the hotel room. And you can look online. There's lots of travel candles that are wonderful out there. It'll perk up your hotel room with that fire chi. It'll make it smell fresh and inviting and not just stale hotel room. And the fire energy of the candle helps to spark friendly conversations and excellent social energy during your travels. Because, hey, that's one of the fun things about traveling, isn't it? Meeting people and getting together and being in social situations. I don't know about you, but I get invited out to dinner and to do all kinds of fun things to do whenever we're traveling. Seems like Tim or I know someone somewhere everywhere in the world. So that's a really fun thing, and I find I meet a lot of people. So you want to energize yourself to meet more people and have more interaction wherever it is that you're going. I also like to have a Bluetooth speaker, one of those little portable speakers, just to add some calming and relaxing music to help me soothe the long day of traveling. You're just kind of tired. You maybe just a little bit. You don't want to hear that TV yapping at you, yeah, and this is what happened in politics today. No one wants to hear that. You want to have something that's soothing and relaxing and helps you kind of unwind and calm down, especially when you're not in your normal setting, your normal room. That is something that I find music is a water element, and so like the fire of the candle the candle is a fire element, the music is a water element. So the water introduces that water element introduces that relaxation kind of mode, especially when you're trying to wind down in the evening to go to sleep. Now, when you're asleep, waking up in the night in a strange room can make you bump into walls if you're not familiar with where you're going. And one of the things I always travel with is a red nightlight. Not a white nightlight, a blue one, a green one, but a red one. And you know this from probably hearing about photographers. Of course, we don't have people that actually develop film like they used to. Anyhow, photographers always would use a red light when developing photos because your eye, it doesn't wake up your eye, and that white diode like on TVs and on your cell phone actually go through your optic nerve to stimulate your brain. And we don't want to do that. In the night, if you're getting up, you want to, run in to use the bathroom and come back to bed. And you don't want to have your brain stimulated. And one of the ways you can do that is with a red night light. And so I have one, I bought it at IKEA eons ago. They don't sell it anymore. But if you look online at Hotel Feng Shui for my website, I have a link to one that's a red night light on Amazon, and it's a 2-pack, so you can leave one behind and still have one. In all these years, knock on wood, I have never left it, and because I love that thing so much. The other thing that you can do is to bring yourself some earplugs, obviously, to help you sleep more soundly. Dollar bills. I like to, whenever I travel, carry plenty of dollar bills because I like to take care of the people who take care of my room. And so I often will leave a little note and say, thanks, the room looks great, really appreciate it, and a couple of dollars. Just that small kindness to leave for the hotel room housekeeper really goes a long way for creating a positive energy in your room, and also passing a little good on, forwarding on a little good energy. And I think that's always good, and that lifts her energy and your energy in the room as well. I also like to carry a conch a conch or a cowrie shell. Actually, I carry cowrie shells. Their conch shells are pretty big. I love them, but cowrie shell is a great replacement for that. And I display that. I put that out on my nightstand table because it's a protector. It offers you protection on the trip and symbolizes good fortune during your travel. It's really good if you're a business travel because they represent excellent business luck. But I also like the idea that, the cowrie shell brings opportunities to you. So opportunities like to make money, to meet people who might make introductions to you. It could be also social introductions as well. So that cowrie shell is something that I never leave home without either. I also like to bring a few things to my room or on my trip that will bring me some protection as well, because we have to think about that. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. One of the things I like to do is to tie a red ribbon around my suitcase handle, and just that red ribbon is enough to kind of burn through any kind of negativity. So bring that to your room if you want to. You can bring maybe just a little red silk flower to put in your room. I used to carry a little teeny tiny vase with a little red silk flower, but I did leave that behind one time in a hotel room. But I like to do that because it energizes the room and it offers me a little protection. Now, when you're checking in, I like to ask for a room with a nice view. A lot of times hotels will request it because having a pretty view is great feng shui. Look at the room carefully when you arrive and check to see that you're not, in an area where it's going to be noisy, so that you're not going to be uncomfortable. And if you are in a noisy location, move to another room. But if you can get a view, that brings beautiful chi to you. And I find that I have a more successful trip when I have an expansive view. So that's another good little tip, especially if you're on vacation. You really want to expand your sight line and your horizon. And if there's any way that you can have like a veranda or a balcony where you can open the windows and let in some fresh air, kind of air out the stale room, as well as to be able to open yourself up. Windows represent how we see the world. And when we're on a trip, we're looking for new visions, right? New sights, new insights as well. So having that view is really nice. So when you get into your hotel room, I always like to turn all the lights on and make sure that it lifts the chi of the hotel rooms. Like I said, they can be a little yin, so turning on the lights really gives it a good shot of yang energy. So I really like that. I come in, I just roll the luggage in, or the bellman delivers it, and on go all the lights, bathroom, everywhere. So I turn those on, and then go ahead and unpack your suitcase. And especially if you're going to be staying for a few days, I have a routine. That's the first thing I do is I get my suitcase up on the suitcase holder, and I start unpacking my toiletries and getting those into the bathroom so that I feel like I have a familiar setting and I don't have to do that later. So I like to get myself unpacked and ready to go, and that makes a big difference for me in terms of being organized and feeling like when I need to get dressed, get ready, whether that's to do a tour, to go out, to be ready for a meeting, I'm ready to roll. The other thing is, it's really important that you try to stay a little organized. A lot of times hotel rooms look like, and I have shared hotel rooms. I have since stopped doing that. I used to share hotel rooms with friends who might be going to the same conference I was going in. I've stopped doing that because I find that, oh boy, talk about your explosion, especially if you're like, and I'm a girly girl and I carry a lot of stuff, but I keep my things contained. I have really good travel containers and travel bags. So I have a bag for all my hair things, I have a bag for all my toiletries, and I have a bag for makeup. So they're all in different areas, and I keep it very well contained. The other girly girls, oh Lord have mercy. It looked like, a Walgreens had exploded all over the bathroom. This is hair stuff and deodorizer, good night. It was, you can't imagine. So anyway, you want to try to keep your, be thoughtful and keep your all of your toiletries and that kind of thing contained in a nice, neat area where you can find it. I also like to refresh the room's energy when I arrive, like opening up the curtains, and if you can, if the weather's okay, open up a window, just let that fresh air into the room. I like to light my candle. Maybe I'll add my flower out and I'll get my red night light plugged in, ready to go, ready to energize. The other thing that I'll do is I will move or cover the clock radio, especially if it has those big bright red numbers, because they really bother me, and the light bothers me quite a bit at nighttime. So I look around for where we're going to have excess light. Last thing I like to do is, you need to sleep well, is carry a clothespin with you. Just stick it in your toiletry bag. Carry that clothespin, because you know how sometimes the curtains don't stay closed. I keep that clothespin so that they will stay closed and I can sleep better. And speaking of sleeping better, one hotel room in fact, a couple of hotel rooms, one stands out in particular. It was in Hawaii. It was a really shishi hotel. My husband and I were staying there for vacation, and I couldn't believe it, but they absolutely had a mirror, a giant mirror opposite the bed. Well, neither one of us were sleeping well. We were, I know it's not feng shui, but it's hard to, say, to somebody, is this a feng shui hotel? Do you have, are there any beds that are looking at the mirror? Anyhow, we were really uncomfortable. Thankfully, we were in Hawaii, where they sell a lot of those giant bed sheet sized beach towels, and we got one of those and covered up. If you're having a problem sleeping, look around and see if you have a mirror in the room that is troublesome. You can even give the housekeepers, if you see them out, you can ask for a sheet, a spare sheet to cover the mirror, because it disrupts your sleep. But cover those mirrors up. It'll make a difference in terms of how you sleep. And lastly, close the bathroom door. Just like you are at home, try to keep the bathroom door closed at all times, so that your living area there in the hotel room stays nice and refreshed. Otherwise, these are really the basics for me of how I like to have good feng shui in my hotel room. And I hope that this has been fun for you, and that you're planning some trips. I know here we are here in the summertime. I'm sweating as I speak because it's Mercury retrograde right now. And yes, my air conditioning went out, and as if that's not the cherry on the ice cream, my ice maker also broke. So I am ready to check into a really luxurious hotel and get my cool on with a big frosty glass of an icy drink. But let's finish up and wrap up with our 3 5-minute feng shui tips as always. Tip number 1, make your room homey. I love to bring cocktail napkins. I know that sounds crazy, but I do. I like to bring cocktail napkins because I always like to have like a sparkling water at night before I go to bed, and I don't like water rings. Yes, I'm one of those. I'm a coaster girl. Anyway, so I bring cocktail napkins. So if I want to have like a little snack or something like that, I've got my cocktail napkins, and that makes me feel homey. My pillow has traveled around the world probably 9 times, and it's something that I bring and I pack in my suitcase everywhere I go. And I had neck fusion surgery, and if you've ever had that, sleeping on the wrong pillow is going to ruin a trip. Do whatever is going to make your trip homey and comfortable for you. That's really essential that you do that. That could be a pretty candle, bring some small frame photos of loved ones with you, anything that's going to make you feel homey and comfortable and sleep well. Number 1. Number 2, bring a little protection. I love to have the cowrie shells next to the bed. It's a protection for all travelers and helps you ensure a smooth and helpful travel experience, especially good for business travelers. The other thing is to wrap your suitcases with a little red ribbon. You can also bring like a small vase with a red flower. Just bring a silk flower in your suitcase. Throw it in there and just put it next to the bed, just to give you a little touch of red and a little extra protection while you're in a hotel room. Never a bad thing. Tip number 3, add fire. Hotel rooms, remember we talked are yin because what? A lot of sleep, a lot of sex goes on in there. So add a red night light. I mentioned that I carry a red night light. I think they're really terrific. They won't wake you up. They add that little fire energy and help bump up that fire and yang energy in your hotel room so that you're revived, you're refreshed, and you also have more social opportunities. When you leave the room every day before you go, straighten it up, neaten it up, and turn a light on. That light will help keep your room energized and activated so that you have an energized and activated trip as well. And I hope that you have a bon voyage wherever your travels may take you. See you next time on 5 Minute Feng Shui. Thanks for listening today to 5 Minute Feng Shui. Be sure to join me on Facebook at facebook.com/Feng Shui Katie. And if you're really ready to move ahead quickly, head over to redlotusletter.com and sign up for my free 4-week e-course, 28 Days to Prosperity. You'll get daily lessons and tips on how to get unstuck and create financial flow in your life. Make it a fantastic day.